Hello once again. It's tubalcain or mrpete222 at your service, and this time with episode number 12 of my This and That series. Be sure and watch the other episodes of this series, and be sure and watch a new series that I have started, and there's only several so far, called How Does It Work? And I've had some pretty good interest in that so far, and I'm doing some things that I think are interesting, and I hope you do too. So on with the show here, and let me show you a few things that are new to you. But number one, I was just up in Wisconsin, and I was at a big flea market in St. Germain, and for $10 I bought this micrometer and this mystery tool here, and it's marked mrpete222. And I've had other mrpete222 products where the foam lining of the box totally disintegrates. So why don't I try to clean this right now, and I'm going to use some kind of thinner, perhaps lacquer thinner, and see if that comes off, and see how badly I got cheated here for the $10. So I'll be right back with you. About 30 minutes has elapsed. It was a much bigger job than I thought, and I had to resort to a brass type brush when my wife's toothbrush failed. So they cleaned up pretty well, and this is going to be a usable Starrett 0 to 1 inch mic, and it's got the 1/10 of a thousandths graduations there, ratchet, and a little lock. The mrpete222 inside mic doesn't look so good. First of all, there's only one rod, and so this will be good for between 2 and 3 inches, but will be usable. But I guess it's okay for $10, and there is a man's name on there, Mr. Bond. Alright, that's my flea market find. In the last episode, number 11, I posed the question that someone had given me, is that why do you very seldom see a 7-hole bolt pattern? You see 6, you see 8, you see 4, but you seldom see 7. Well, there's not really a good answer for that, other than if you divide 360 by 7, you come up with a real odd repeating decimal, and you never could get the exact degrees. But then again, it doesn't really matter, because when you think about it, when I was a kid, I had either an Ivor Johnson or a H&R 7-shot revolver, and you know, they made a lot of those cheap revolvers back then, and they still make 7-shotters, and it's no big deal at all to divide that circle with plenty of accuracy, and they obviously were able to do that 100 years ago. So sometimes it's not necessary to carry it out to this degree anyway, no pun intended, because you gunsmiths out there can tell me what the name is for when the bullet leaves the cylinder and goes into the barrel, and there's just a little bit of leeway there, and I think it's a little bit of a conical shape there in the barrel that will allow for that anyway, to minimize the lead splatter. But you almost always get lead splatter with those old guns. Now, somebody told me that they had a Ford that had 7 bolts on the wheel, and also somebody mentioned there were Kawasaki's made that way. So they do it, you just don't see it very often. Perhaps it is not very pleasing visually as well. Alright, enough of that. I don't normally read the shotgun news, and this is not a regular issue of it, because as I recall, it was almost a tabloid made out of newspaper. But in this one, it's called the Treasury, and I guess they come out with this, well, it says 15th annual, but if you get a hold of a copy of this, you're going to find that there's some pretty neat machine shop stuff in there. Not always about gun making, but there's some gun making skills, and they're talking about taps and dies and how to thread straight holes and so on. So pick yourself up a copy of that, and you might like it. But there was a good article in here, several articles about the German Luger, which I've always been a fan of German Lugers. My brother used to have one. Let me tell you just a little story here, if you'll bear with me. But when I was in junior college, we had to take a speech class. Of course, you're going to be a teacher, you got to take speech classes, several of them. And I was afraid, I was scared. But one of the assignments was to give a demonstration. So I asked Dr. Evans, Dr. Myrna Evans. She was a good teacher. Miss Evans, Dr. Evans, for my demonstration, can I bring in my brother's German Luger, and I'm going to show the class how to field strip it? Oh my, Mr. Peterson. Of course you can, but you won't bring any bullets along, will you? No, Dr. Evans, I won't. So that demonstration that I gave was a hit. Believe it or not, it was a hit. The teacher loved it, I got an A, and the kids loved it in the class because, of course, you're giving this to the other class members. And it was possible, if you don't know this, to totally field strip a German Luger without any tools. It unsnaps and parts pull out. I don't remember how to do it, but it's an amazing jigsaw puzzle to take that apart and to show that to a class, I guess, was intriguing. So I guess at that time I knew that I was able to do a demonstration like that. I remember practicing that over and over and over so that I was adept at it. Well, all right, that's ancient history. But get yourself a copy of this magazine if you're interested in it, and you gunsmiths will know about this anyway. Now, I think there's a lot of gunsmiths that are watching me, and thank you for it. One of my very recent videos, just a week or two ago, was a visit to the Rock Island Arsenal Museum, and 10,000 people have watched that. You take a look at it if you haven't seen it. But since then, Mr. Driscoll of Davenport, Iowa, said, I think I got a couple books that you might be interested in. So he sent me two beautiful books. Here's one called Rock Island Arsenal, and it's mainly pictures, just beautiful pictures of the arsenal and all the shops, and the limestone shops. And then this other one, an illustrated history of the Rock Island Arsenal. And you know what? When I was in the museum gift shop, because you know all museums have a gift shop, and the only thing I look at is the book section, and I saw these two books, at least I think it was these two books, and I thought, oh man, I would love to have those, but you know, they're not cheap. I think they were, you know, $20, $30 each, so I went home empty-handed, but I sure do thank you, Dale, for this gift that you sent. I received a package this week of these various products here from CMD. Now that is Chicago Manufacturing and Distribution Company, and Mr. Jim Bennett is the president, and sent me a nice letter and said, here's some samples, you know, and for you and your brother, because I'm going to send half of these to my brother in Cody, Wyoming. And he said, show them if you will on your videos. Well, I have mentioned this product repeatedly over the years, and I will continue to use it, and you'll see me use it from time to time. It's excellent for threading and for your dead centers and things like that. So thank you, Jim. And Jim's son is a dentist, and he had contacted me first, and he's also a machinist, because you know, dentists are always good with their hands, you know, they have to be. And then he connected me with his father, who then sent me the samples, and this CMD is out of Gagetown, Michigan. So thank you, Mr. Bennett. Now, where can you get this? Well, they have a website, and you can look at their website, and they're going to tell you what the distributors are, but you'll find it on eBay. That's probably your best bet. Go to eBay, and it's about $10 for a tube of this. You can also find it at Jegs, Jegs. You guys that are hot rodders know what Jegs is, and probably other places if you do a search on it. But here's the number 3. That's the thick lube that you've seen me use. And here's the extreme pressure oil. That's a little thinner. And finally, I believe this is a fairly new product for them. I'm not really sure about it, but it's the CMD Gun Lube. Maybe that's available in gun stores. I do not know, but it's anti-galling, contains no lead, graphite, or corrosives. So that's a nice gift, and my brother and I will enjoy that. Thank you, Jim. Pat Craig sent me a couple books, and I thank you, Pat. And he knows I like this old stuff, but this is Audell's Automobile Guide. You know, Audell's had all kinds of books: carpentry, electricity, mechanics, and so on. And so there's some neat pictures in there of old automobiles, and that's really an old book. And then a slightly thinner one, and it's about diesel engine manual. So that should make some good reading this winter. Thank you, Pat. A big thanks to Marvin Weber, who sent me a box with some various tools in there, and I can't show you what they are because you're going to see those on my What Is It series eventually, at least some of them. And also an old book from 1923 from the railroad, and it's a rule book, which is interesting to look at, all of the various American Railway Association Code of Rules. A man probably long, long dead. Thank you, Marvin. Just one more thing. Kevin Stollard out of Virginia sent me this beautiful decimal equivalent chart with English and metric and all of the tap sizes and so on, including pipe. And he runs or is associated with a parts store, automobile parts store, and they also have a print shop. And he told me you can print just about anything, so I believe this was printed in his shop. And he did a nice job of packing it, because there's another piece of the material. It's aluminum that obviously they printed the chart on. He put that in a heavy box, you know. So this came, and it wasn't bent, and it came by, let me see, I believe it was UPS. Yeah, it was UPS ground, and it came in perfect shape. So that's going to go someplace on my bench or above a lathe or something. I don't have a whole lot of wall space left, but I'm going to find a spot for it, because you can't find these metal charts anymore, and you really can't even find the paper ones anymore. They don't have the giveaways from the companies like they used to have. So, and I lament that. So I hope I haven't talked too long here, and continue to give me comments. Remember, I cannot answer all the comments. There's just too many, or I will answer them briefly. And I cannot answer those long ones asking for major help of something I may not even know how to do, as I just don't have the time to do that. But thanks to all of you that sent stuff to me, and continue to watch my videos. This is tubalcain saying so long for now.